Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. Today's video, we have the Tcl R635 at the very top at 55 inches. It's a mini LED versus the 48-inch Sony A9S Master Series OLED at the very bottom. The Master Series is 48 inches. It is on the bottom. It is closer to me. The TCL is larger and further back, which is why it looks smaller. It's just the way my stands are. I couldn't line them up. The OLED is going to look a little bit cooler. It's in standard. These are in normal viewing conditions. It's a dark room, but they're set up to normal. Oops. We pause them briefly. We can show you where we are. I don't need a sleep timer. TV brightness is normal, picture size, picture settings, we are on normal, HDR. Nothing really special about the settings. They're kind of at their standard. What we will do here is we will actually go into the Sony A9S and we will change the color to warm 3. Right now it's at neutral. The funny thing is, we'll do it expert too, is a lot of times when we're testing these, they're on different HDMIs. It gets to be a little hard to keep track of what's what. Continue. We're running through the Panasonic UB820, running through an HDR splitter. Advanced contrast enhancer is disabled as well as live color. There isn't a ton of settings on the TCL where you can make it look more vibrant. Keep in mind that the TCL was $680 at launch at 55 inches. The A9S Master Series was $2,000 at launch at 48 inches. Why I bring it up is that TCL, I believe TCL and Hisense have really stole the crown from Vizio as far as being the best value. Full array local dimming, Dolby Vision, variable refresh rate. Very, very impressive what you get for the money. The difference for me with these TCL, Vizio, and Hisense, I do bunch them together, is quality control. You can get a bad panel. I feel like a lot of the reviews that were crushing the TCL could easily be dismissed away in some ways due to the panel lottery. So if I had gotten a bad panel, I mentioned in my unboxing that I would switch it out for another one. I have a very clean panel. I'm very happy with it. I've used it since launch. I had it the very first week it launched. The A9S Master Series was supplied to me from Value Electronics in Scarsdale, New York. Check the description below or contact both Robert and or Wendy. Thank you so much for lending me the A9S Master Series for extended review. It is going back today as well as the Sony 950H, which I've had for 7 months. Very kind of them to lend me the A9S Master Series, which is incredible. And also, being a Master Series, it is calibrated out of the box. The TCL is not calibrated. Now, in these black transitions, you'll see a little excessive blooming as they transition in on some of the shots, but keep in mind on how a lot of these shots, because they're slower, the camera, right here, the camera doesn't have to adjust. The aperture in the camera is set to auto. But the black level is super impressive on the TCL. There is noticeable blooming, or some blooming, I should say, around subtitles, but I don't notice it in any other content, especially black bars. But it's very impressive, again, for the money. It hung in there against the LG CX. I thought it went really well also against the Sony X950H. You can look at those comparisons on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments about TCL and Sony. But I also want to know your honest opinion in regards to these brands, TCL, Hisense, and Vizio. Do you view them as bargain brands? Do you view them harshly? Are you open to them? I'll be doing a separate video on my thoughts on all three. I've championed all three. I've been burned by Vizio several times, so we'll have to do a video on that as well. This one's a tough one. the blooming's not as egregious as you see here because obviously the OLED doesn't have blooming either. It'll normalize there, and you'll also see when the owls come on screen what the black level really looks like. Now, seeing them in the daylight, in regards to the stand and the build quality, obviously the TCL is much thicker. It's a bit generic, but you know, you're paying again material wise a quarter of the cost in some cases. Its black crush or crushing the blacks is nowhere near what it was with the TCL 8 series from last year, except the TCL 8 series from last year has been updated several times and has improved. If you have that 8 series, please let me know in the comments how that panel has changed since its launch. As we all know, TVs, like anything else, video games have kind of launched incomplete updates to change the image now. I love that these more value-centric brands can give everyone those higher end specs, namely full array, variable refresh rate, high peak brightness. Normally, years ago at that price point, you would lose all picture quality. You know, you'd have a very washed out image. And, you know, it's nice to be able to give any kind of value to anyone that can afford it at any size. That's why I will always champion those brands. I will always cover these brands as well as the high end. But when you talk value, it's amazing because there isn't any buyer's remorse. You don't hesitate. You know, when you spend a ton of money, there's times you're like, oh my God, is it really worth it? When something is as affordable as the TCL, you're not as critical of it. Look at that black level. Wow. So value is key. Are you impressed with it? I know it's been killed in many reviews, but keep in mind, I do have it in front of me. I've had it since launch. So all I can tell you is what I've experienced, what I see, versus what I've heard or what I've read. So please try and keep an open mind. Now, before I go, what I find challenging with some of these panels, TCL, is in the settings having TV brightness. You know, you have your normal HDR, you have your bright HDR, you have your dark HDR. It does make a difference in the image, and it's always difficult. As you go dark HDR here, you can actually see how much closer it looks to the OLED. So we'll let this run till the video ends. You'll see how similar they look now. But it's always hard in those settings when they're saying, oh, bright for a bright room. That's not always accurate. So you have to go by what is pleasing to your eye. But they have to have a better description of how to set that. So we'll let this run out. Video will be about 10 minutes long, maybe 11 minutes long. Again, you should see this in HDR. That's why there's no screen labeling, as when I edit it, I lose HDR. This is set to dark for the TCL, which to me doesn't really help the image all that much. I like it more at normal. But I can see if you're in a bright room. Dolby Vision, has a darker look as it does on all panels. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. I'm going to say goodbye and let this run out. Love you guys. Thank you for being part of the community and family. And I will see you in the comments. Take care.